Thank you all for joining the Top Gun Collector channel. My name is Al, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 1/3 scale Alien Big Chap by Prime 1 Studio. Alright everyone, as I mentioned in the introduction, today we're going to be taking a look at the 1/3 scale Alien Big Chap by Prime 1 Studio. Now, this specific piece is the DX version, which is limited to 400 pieces. I have number 227. The regular is limited to 100 pieces. Now, I'll make sure to point out the differences. As far as measurements go, I believe the Prime 1 Studio website has this, the height-wise has it listed at 31 inches. I actually measured it more at around 32 inches. As far as width goes, it's 16 inches, and then depth is also 16 inches. So before I go into the more in-depth review and the up-close of shots, I'll go ahead and show you a quick clip of the unboxing and assembly. Alright, so as you saw in the unboxing, it's only one box, so it's pretty manageable. The box weighed around 50, probably 55 pounds, so not too massive. The assembly wise, pretty easy piece to assemble. It's essentially just the base, the body, the hands, the portrait, and a few little pieces here and there, but pretty easy assembly. But yeah, we can go right ahead and get started with some up close of shots here. I'll go right ahead and begin with the base. Alright, so here is the top of the base. Now, one of the things I do want to just start off by saying that this specific base is a bit more compact compared to the previous release, because this is essentially a re-release, this piece. So the previous piece had a giant wall in the back. So I'll put a picture right up here just so you can see what I'm referring to for reference. Now with that wall, you can, of course it does add a little bit more depth, and the base itself just looked a little bit more different. For this specific piece, it seems like they went more of a museum type base. And just looking at the top, so here we have looks like just what appears to be more like steel tile. That's kind of what the effect I'm getting based on all the marks on here, the indentations. So they were going more with that kind of like steel look. Yeah, what I love about it mainly is all the colors. So you should be able to pick a lot of these up on camera, but essentially we have more of a bluish hue. Borders of each tile has more of a reddish brownish look to it. We have all these weird patterns, something that you may more likely than not see on some sort of ship. These weird patterns and designs. And yeah, the base looks great. The paint job on it is really good. Yeah, I like how they did away with that more of that bluish hue on the sides, and then in the center, not sure how much is that's picking up, but essentially the right in the center, it's all silver. So you can definitely see the contrast between the silver and the bluish hue. And like I said, it does look like it appears to be like steel essentially because all those indentations. Yeah, so the base looks good. I like that. But then it transitions over to this more of a flat type of paint. This kind of looks like what you will see on more of a rusted steel essentially. So they went with more of a rusted steel look. That's pretty much throughout. Like I said, it's more of a museum type base, because as the previous release had like tubes in the back coming out, and it looked more like a scene from the specific from one of the specific scenes from the movie. Yeah, so all the rust effect looks really good here. And then we go down here. They did a really good job here. We see all like these, a lot of metal tubing everywhere, weird patterns, but mainly you should be able to see this picking up on camera. You can see that more of that chameleon paint job kind of throughout all these tubes. Gives it more of a realistic look. Like the steel burnt tips that you see on sports cars, they give that same paint effect on here as well, which is referred to as the chameleon paint job. But you can see like blues, greens, browns, all that purple there, some orange. Very, very good paint work. Yeah, so overall, really great paint job by Prime 1 with this base. Very, very good. Alright, so moving up to the body. Now, I do want to start off by saying that when I received this piece, essentially it pegs in from the back, the left leg. But when I received it, there was a pretty large gap on the right leg, so I'll put up a picture just for reference. Now, this specific gap appears to be a pretty common issue with this piece. I've already seen multiple posts with people having this specific issue. When I received it, I assembled the statue and I kind of let it just sit overnight. And by the next morning, it was pretty much flush, no issues. Minor gap in the front, but as far as the back, it's pretty flush. So yeah, I guess one thing that I would just advise is, when you receive this piece, if it does have a gap, when you peg in the left leg, if there's a gap in the front, just let it sit overnight, let it settle, and hopefully, if you're come across similar what I did, the same results, and you have no issues the following morning. But just one thing I wanted to note. So starting off with the back of the leg. A lot of details here. Insane details. Great job with the painted nails there. Yeah, one thing about this piece is the paint work. It is amazing. Kind of more of that slimy look throughout. Yeah, here, let me just want to show you up close shots. But yeah, you can just see, like, look at all those veins. They use various like browns, and you can just see all the veins there with the speckles, small little speckles. Like, it looks really good. And I just love the paint apps, like the various colors that they used for the skin. Like, it does look like an organism. It looks really good. And then we have the tail as well. Very awesome job with the tail. Now there is a small gap in the back, but again, it's in the back, you know. But you know, it looks awesome. Look here, you can really see how well this paint job is. That just looks amazing. They did a really good job, like I said, with all the veins and the various colors that they used on there. Very good. The hand, bunch of little minor details here. Looking at the fingers as well. See if it locks in. Very good. Even the nails, like it's like flat up front and then it turns more into that metallic towards the end. That's a lot of attention to detail there with them. Yeah, it's really not much to say. The paint work, I don't know if we would call it anatomy essentially, is just insane. Prime 1 killed this. Then we have like the back of the rib cage over here. Then these, you know, I'm not a huge Alien, I'm not saying I'm not a fan, I don't know it as well, so it's like, yeah, I'm not sure what this is. Say that these are just not quite sure what to call them, but even just looking at this, it's insane. See all the little details there at the, see if that kind of picks up. Just all these micro details that they put on here. It's really impressive. Very, very impressive. And like I said, it's the paint work. You can just see all the, look at that. On here as well. Kind of looks like a snail. Like the way that they painted it. But yeah, outstanding job. And look at the ribs. Very good job with the ribs as well. I know this piece is amazing. The paint work on this is just insane. So yeah, this is pretty much just up close up shots of the body. And yeah, the anatomy, the paint work, all the micro details that you see throughout, like that's just, you know. And I recently reviewed the Jungle Hunter 1/3 Predator, and that piece was amazing. But just looking at this paint job, like wow. Yeah, that's next level there. All right, so we can go ahead and move up here. Pretty much for the portraits. So this specific one, which is the open mouth portrait, that one comes with both the limited regular version and the DX. And this bust right here with the closed mouth only comes with the DX version. So I'm actually going to take this head sculpt off and show you a little bit more up close up shots of both portraits. All right, so here we can start off with the open mouth portrait. This is essentially the regular portrait that comes with both the limited and the DX version. Now, before I begin, I do want to point out that one of the main differences between this re-release and the previous release is that the dome on this one is essentially more clear. The previous one has a little bit more shading up front. So actually one of the members from the community took some pretty good comparison pictures, so I'll put those up on the screen just for your reference. So as you just saw with those pictures, main difference is essentially just the dome. This one's more clear, which, you know, I guess the one with a little bit more shading it's more screen accurate. I'm not sure exactly if this is a concept or if someone might know where the more clear dome specifically came from as far as the idea. If you do, go right ahead and drop that in the comments below. But yeah, no, I actually like the more clear dome, mainly because you can just see more details to it. But let's take up some up close looks here. Look at that, it just looks so good. The paintwork there, like I said, with all the veins, speckles, various browns and oranges, and just looks really good. Then we have the metallic silverish teeth there. That looks awesome. Yeah, the paintwork is just amazing. Even in this, like these, I'm sure what kind of look like hydraulics, but even that, you know, you can see, like, look at all those colors even in there. You could turn it to this, when you turn it to the side, it's like more gray. Like a lot of detail on that. Then when you look at the dome just looks amazing. See a cracked skull in there. All the spikes. The bones, like it just looks so good. Yeah, Prime 1 killed this. It's amazing. Alright, so I'll show you the DX portrait now. So before I jump into the DX bonus portrait, just want to kind of give you a good look at the bust as well, the bust stand. Pretty much same paintwork that you see on the statue, and it is amazing. Yeah, great job here. This is where the hose link up to the portrait. The spikes, great paintwork. Now this one, there is a difference as well compared to the previous release. Essentially the previous one, it was a little bit shorter here, and there were a lot of issues with essentially the head sculpt being a little too heavy and it would just topple over. So for the re-release, Prime 1 essentially just made this a little bit longer and yeah, rectified that issue. So if I do find a picture of the previous one, I'll put that up right here on the screen. But yeah, so other than that, yeah, same paintwork you see on the statue, and yeah, looks amazing. But we'll jump over to the DX portrait now. All right, so here we're looking at the DX portrait. Pretty much the exact same paintwork, same dome. Only main difference is the teeth. Now, oddly, this specific, like the closed mouth, was I believe that was the regular portrait for the previous release, whereas in the re-release, the closed mouth is actually the DX portrait. So that's another difference. And I previously had the open mouth on the statue, so I'll go ahead and put this one on the statue and kind of show you how that looks. But yeah, other than that, same piece. Looks good. No issues. Alright, so here we are looking at the DX portrait on the statue. Yeah, it looks good. Like I said, it's pretty much the exact same. The only main difference we have is the teeth. Now that it's on the piece, I will say that the DX portrait does look more like a sinister type of look, like a creepy, smiling, sinisterous look. But I like it. But yeah, I'm having a hard time deciding which one I prefer, or mainly which one I'm going to display it with. Now, this being a museum piece, I am going to say one thing, that the regular portrait does give it more of a action feel. I pretty much say that's for every piece. When you have a screaming portrait, it's more of a, gives it more of a some more movement, and that's also the case with this piece. So yeah, I also do like the regular a lot. Not quite sure, but guess we'll see. Probably just switch them off here and there, But yeah, it looks good. So yeah, this is the DX portrait. Alright everyone, so that pretty much wraps up the review. Overall, my verdict is I highly recommend it. Outstanding piece. One thing I did not know during the review is that when you look at the ES for this piece, and I'm talking about just I guess we'll call this more of the action pose one. I know there's a Big Chap, the one where he's just kind of standing straight. So looking at the more of the action pose one, the re-release had a total ES of 500, 400 DX, 100 for the limited. Whereas the initial OG release, that one had a total of 350 ES. So we're looking at a total of 850 ES for two separate releases with a total of 4 separate, essentially, editions. 850 is pretty low, I'd say. So I can definitely see this piece being highly sought after, retaining its value, and likely even selling above retail down the line for sure. So if you're on the fence, my verdict is it's an amazing piece, so go for it. I'll go ahead and drop the Prime One Studios website link in the description below, so you can go ahead. As of right now, it's waitlisted, so you'll have to join the waitlist. But yeah, other than that, I'll also drop a link to the TGC Facebook group, so in case you want to see some additional content from the community members. But yeah, other than that, hope you all enjoy this review, and catch you on the next one.